Well, hello there. Welcome back to another episode of the Brocast. Today, we'll be talking about some various different things. So let's get straight into it. First of all, what have I been up to the past couple of weeks? I think it's about 2 weeks since I recorded the last podcast. Let me just quickly check who it was with. I believe it was Michael or George, the last broadcast. It was with Michael and we were talking about gaming growing up. And since then I've kind of had a little bit of a shake around of some stuff and haven't really got to completing any games or anything like that. So I haven't really reviewed any, but I have got some to review. I've got a spoilerish type Justice League review that I want to talk about, which is also something I want to touch on within this podcast, which is talking about the way that reviews are done and the way that I conduct my own reviews, because I haven't really had a chance to go into too much detail when I've been talking about it on the In Review series. But updates with that. In Review is going to be coming back. I'm going to be doing a Call of Duty In Review. It'll be up sometime this week. Alongside that, I'm going to be doing a Star Wars Battlefront soon when I do the campaign. So I want to give the story a bit of a go and give my opinions on that. And then finally, I have an in review for the Justice League, which I'm going to do a spoiler review for that. Because it came out last Friday and I haven't really had a chance to record it because I've been busy. But speaking of being busy, because I'm talking about it here on the podcast, I have been streaming. Streaming has been absolutely incredibly fun. I started on the... What day did I start? Let me just quickly check my calendar. The 10th and 11th of... No, the 9th and the 10th of November. That's when I started streaming again. And I've been playing majority of PUBG, Star Wars Battlefront 2... Overwatch, World of Warcraft, and a little bit of Call of Duty World at War, or World War 2 even. So that's been going great, and I'm going to be sticking to a plan on it around of about switching the games up maybe every 2 hours. But if I feel good playing a game, I'm going to consistently keep playing it. Like today, I could have just kept playing game after game after game of Star Wars Battlefront 2, but I'd played an hour and a half worth on PUBG before on the start of the stream. But 4 hours is a really good time for me. I'm taking them to take a drink. 4 hours is a really good time period because it allows for... It's not too long and it's not too short. It's long enough for me to get on a roll with things and to plow through stuff and to have a up and down with viewership. But also it allows me to get into a rhythm of a game because I can't really spend an hour with a game, or 2 hours with a game, if I'm not enjoying it as much. It gives me room to be able to switch up and do lots of different things. So yeah, that's what I've been doing with streaming. At the moment, I'm going to be doing Monday, Tuesday, and Friday going forward. And on top of that, doing obviously optional streams here and where I can. What games have I been playing? Obviously, the games I've just mentioned, but I've just recently beat God of War 3, so that is off the list. That was a very, very fun game. Really enjoyed the going back into a hack and slash environment and also a hack and slash where you can just not exactly turn your brain off to the story or the gameplay, but it's not addictive in a sense of you want to just keep playing it. It's more addictive in the sense of you love destroying stuff or like ripping things apart when Kratos does his cutscene moves and all that type of stuff. And it didn't take me too long to beat. I started it and I got about a third of the way through the game, maybe. And then just ploughed through it last night. Finished it about 3 a.m. because I just wanted to keep playing it. I knew I was close to the end because I saw a walkthrough. I wasn't watching a walkthrough of the actual game. I was watching a walkthrough of if I got stuck on a puzzle or something like that. And I looked at the guide, and it was like there was 9 chapters, and I was on like chapter 7 from what I was gathering. So I wasn't too far. So I was like, I'm going to plow through this and beat the game. Besides that, I've just been working. I'm now obviously not at college, so it means I can put more work in to earn a little bit more money, up the professionalism a little bit on the channel, maybe eventually help out getting somewhere to record the podcast permanently instead of just my room. Soundproofing, I'm really into just the whole professional side of doing things, even if it doesn't go anywhere, or I get not bored of it, but like something else comes up in my life where I have to stop doing the podcast. At least I know that I've attempted it. The best thing I can do is be professional with it, and I've never really done that. I've never really done that as part of my channel. I've always been just do what I can with what I've got, and it's only been the past 3 or so months that I've really just tried to think about stuff and am I making the right decisions when it comes to things that I'm doing. So it means that I'm able to change the way I do things on my channel. So for example, I'm doing a podcast now. I'm trying to keep it to a regular schedule, even if it's 1 a week, 2 a week, depending on if I can get people on. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do a podcast with my friend Ryan. I am going to meet back up with him though at some point when he's free to record a podcast. And as always, I like recording podcasts with my good buddy George Rowe, and I'll always try and get people on if they want to do the podcast. Some other friends that are obviously people I know at college, that are at college now, the course that I was on. So yeah, that's the way forward with the podcast. So topic I wanted to talk about today on the podcast was reviewers, and we've touched on it before in a group discussion, but I don't know how long. I kind of asked what everyone else's opinions were of it, and the thing that I keep noticing a lot of the minute is reviewers are there to critique and analyze certain pieces of media, whether that's film, TV, books, games, hardware, software. There's always going to be people there to review. But when does it change from being a reviewer doing it to just someone giving an opinion? Or is that what a review is? Is it just someone giving an opinion? Because some of these detailed analyses of games and media are completely different to what I hear from fans or people that play the game and just give me their opinion on the game. So, for example, recently Justice League has been destroyed by critics. If I go and have a look on Rotten Tomatoes right now for the Justice League, I think it is sitting at about maybe a 50%. It's sitting at 40%, right? But then we look at the audience score, and 84% of people liked it. So then we go over to Thor Ragnarok, and it's got a 92% review meter, so the critics that reviewed it, and then it's got an 88 audience score. Now, I think that Thor was a very, very good film in its own within the cinematic universe. It wasn't mind-blowing. It was great for me. But at the moment, the pinnacle of the Marvel universe when it comes to film, the cinematic universe, I won't get my words out. The top films in there, for me, it's still Avengers. I still think Avengers was the top of there, with Winter Soldier and not Civil War. Winter Soldier is also up there as well. Also alongside Iron Man. That's just me. That's my personal opinion. When does that become a reviewer? Does like a reviewer do something that they have theirs, and does that mean that their review is more? Does it hold more ground? I don't know. And talking about Justice League, I enjoyed the film. I could see where the flaws were with some of the CGI. I won't go too much in depth because I want to do a proper full review on it. But maybe it's just me not noticing it and not reviewing, not having a background in film. Maybe it's not having a background in maybe just in media in general. That people that are reviewing it are giving their side of stuff. And here are some of the reviews for the film. It's like everyone involved in making Justice League and everyone will eventually see it deserved something better than this. I think, personally, I disagree with that because I feel like the film was good for the fans and at least we got it at this point. Understand what DC have done where they are trying to catch up to what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, but they're always playing catch up. There's always that benchmark, so we're always going to compare it to the Marvel films, but they're completely different tonally, they're completely different companies, and I feel that they need to take their own universe and critique it in that sense. So we've seen the likes of Jurassic Park or Jurassic World beat Avengers within box office sales and that type of stuff. But I feel like that's where they stand in the cinema world. Warner Brothers haven't quite nailed Warner Brothers haven't quite nailed that yet with the DC universe, and I feel like they are getting there. Wonder Woman was very good. It was a standalone film in its own sense, and it does have links to the main film. They haven't fleshed out everyone's story yet. Batman v Superman, I agree, was a mess. It was too long, too bogged down, and it took too long to get to the action. But it was enjoyable for me as a fan. Same with Man of Steel. A lot of people didn't like Man of Steel. They thought it was very boring. I enjoyed Man of Steel because it was the first time we got to see a fully fledged Superman that wasn't cheesy or corny. It was more of a realistic style Superman. But here's another one. This is a fresh review. It's like, while Justice League endeavours to save the world and plant the seeds to do so again, this sort of film, given DC's track record, that should celebrate small victories where they can find them. I completely agree. It's like, compared to the previous works, the result is that of a correct league without many surprises. Yeah, I agree with that because they haven't been risky with it. They haven't had this long build-up. I think, when did Batman v Superman came out? In 2016, I believe, and then now this is the same time with Justice League. Wait, let me look at that up. I need to make sure that's right. Make sure my maths and dates are all right. Batman versus, give me a second. Batman versus Superman release date 26th of March 2016. So it came out last year, early last year. So that got a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. That got destroyed compared to. It also got destroyed with Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad also got a 26%. Then we go to Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman got a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, or tomatoes, whatever you think. And then other films within there, Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel. There we go. That got 55%. So it just means that DC has got better. If you think about it in the long haul, it went Man of Steel. Then we went from Man of Steel to Batman v Superman, went down. And then we went to Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad kind of flopped. It was poor writing, poor execution, I feel, and the reshoots really didn't do it justice. Then we go to Wonder Woman, a great, great film. I really enjoyed it. But I wanted to see more of her because all we saw of her was in Batman v Superman. So that's what a lot of people wanted more. They wanted more of Wonder Woman. I want to see more of her in a Justice League, in a team-up sense, not just how it was in Batman v Superman. I wanted to do it more. And maybe it is because Justice League wasn't fully directed by Zack Snyder. It was directed by Josh Whedon as well, and he did reshoots, and you can see where they are, so it is kind of jarring and understand that. But when you look past that as a fan, it disappoints me when I see a film get bashed, because it's not bad. The film isn't bad. There wasn't areas of the film where I'm like, that is terrible, I do not like that at all, which is what I was saying when it was in Suicide Squad. But see, this is one. Justice League is flawed, but its flaws are outweighed by its superb direction, decent dialogue, excellent casting, acting, score, visual effects, and editing. The score was fantastic. This is kind of like a mini review within the video. I probably didn't even need to do an in-review. The visual effects were shady at times, but very, very good. Dialogue between the characters was very good. And yeah, that's all I can really say. And also, there's another review here that says, they say that in life there are no second chances, but the jokes, the good chemistry of the lineup, the Easter eggs managed to save it. They did. This is another review. Although engaging in parts, Justice League is one big incoherent and loud mess that unfortunately has failed to utilise its undeniable superhero star power in order to deliver an unforgettable cinematic experience that fans have been waiting to see. Disagree. I agree that there are certain forgettable aspects of it, like Cyborg maybe is one a forgettable aspect, but he's very much part of the team. I wanted to see him do more, but not a lot of these people are they're gonna flesh these characters out. So fingers crossed with the direction of the next couple of films. If they don't pull it off in their standalone films, then they probably need to rewipe and start again. But this time they need to take their time. They need to stop trying to capitalise on the success of what Marvel are doing. Marvel have been doing this for years. And it was only until Batman Begins, Batman Dark Knight, and Batman The Dark Knight Rises where things kind of started to take off a little bit with superhero films. Marvel had been laying it, and there's stonker of Marvel films. There are some really bad Marvel films I have to put out there. Iron Man 2 was terrible. Another one. Ant-Man was good, funny, but very forgettable. Thor 2, Jesus Christ. I enjoyed Age of Ultron, but Age of Ultron didn't land too well with many reviewers. And I think there is too much of a what's the word? Too much of an emphasis of comparing them. It is a fan review, right? It's finally here. The first adaptation of DC's Justice League on the big screen. Like Marvel's The Avengers 5 years before it, the Justice League takes its biggest and most popular heroes and puts them all together for an action extravaganza. Then there's more. So there's another one here. It says, whether or not you feel like arguing for DC or Marvel, a good movie is a good movie, regardless of who made it. The terms fun and dark are the two that get tossed around the most when comparing these two franchises. While many people are wrong to like a movie based on its tone, I can gladly say that not much complaining can be done about the tone of Justice League, which was great. It wasn't dull, it wasn't boring, it wasn't brooding like the DC universe is, like all of the other films have been. Superman was like that, Man of Steel was like that, Batman v Superman was definitely like that. Suicide Squad tried to be funny, but still had a very dark tone, so it was kind of like a dark humour. I hated the Joker in that as well. I hated the Joker in that. It's my worst Joker. Because I was a Joker fan and I was interested to see what he was going to do, what Jared Leto was going to do with the character. But I feel like he had the wrong direction. I feel like the script wasn't right. The character wasn't portrayed the best way he could be. And it was very, very weird. I wanted to see more of the manacle. Because we haven't, since maybe Jack Nicholson, we haven't really had a manacle, obsessed arsehole that the Joker is on screen. So I went on a bit of a tangent there. I wanted to just get some feelings out about the Justice League, and because I really enjoyed the film, and it's not breaking any boundaries with film and the way that it is, but if you appreciate that there's actual living proof of a DC Justice League on film, there it is. They're going to be making more, if Ben Affleck stays around, hopefully, or whatever. So yeah, I'll leave that topic there. But with reviews, I honestly think you take it what you think. If you read a review like I do, and I don't go and see a film because of a review, then I feel it's different to if you don't play a game because of a review. Now, the difference, I think, between playing a game and watching a film is you don't have no control of anything. You have no control of the editing, the direction of the actors, their tones of voice, the styles of doing things, their style of acting, the way that the story pans out. You have no control over it. And that's different because when you review a game, I feel like my story or my interpretation of a game would be different to, say, a casual gamer that just plays your general shoot 'em ups and doesn't really play the campaign, just plays multiplayer. But then you've got people that like to play campaign or like single player stories quite a bit, and they'll have their experience. So me appealing to different types of people when I do my own review is because that's how I see it in the back of my head. I see it as, when I am playing a game, it's like, how would the general populace take this game? And a big example of that was, what was the game? I've just lost it. I had it a minute ago. I've lost it. Like Call of Duty. Like, for the masses, people love Call of Duty. Although they loved a lot of them, apart from Infinite Warfare, which was slated. But generally, everyone loves World War II on release. But the people that have been playing games for so many years aren't interested anymore in Call of Duty because they know it's repetitive. They know it's the same stuff. They know it's the same gameplay, the same twitchy shoot 'em up style of game that is repeated on the market over and over and over again. I personally like to play a variety of different games because it expands your knowledge of different types of storytelling, different gameplay elements, and it also expands your mind and opens your mind up as a reviewer. When you take a game, and you're not necessarily a reviewer, but if I was telling someone about a game, I tell the good parts first, because ideally I want them to get the best experience of a game first. Then I tell them the downfalls of it. There you go. If you immediately slate a game straight off, obviously people are going to be put off straight away. And then you talk about the good points a little bit later on. So, well, why are you talking about how amazing these good parts are if you've just slated these areas for being terrible? Good example of that is Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. Destiny 1, a lot of people got turned off because it was boring, repetitive grind, and the story was terrible. And that has given a bad impression to new players for Destiny 2. But Destiny 2, if you put the amount of hours in that I did to Destiny 1, you'll understand that the game is very different. Gameplay-wise, it's very much the same. They've added some new elements to it, but story-wise and content-wise, it's very, very different to Destiny 1. And that is why that's how I'll explain it. Or when I try to explain to people, it's like, I thought Destiny 1 was boring and terrible. I don't want to get into another Destiny game. But then you try to explain it to them in that sense. And also, I'm trying to think of a really bad example of a game that I've played. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's like my touch on reviews. Because reviews are very much opinionated, but people hold some people's opinions very, very highly, you could say. Especially, your IGN, IMDb, the critics that are on Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't look at. Tomatoes, I should say, Rotten Tomatoes. I don't look at a lot because it's a lot of different critics that have a lot of different viewpoints. And I tend to like to see stuff to make my own opinion. Or if I know something is going to be bad, I have just a general feeling of something, I won't watch it. A perfect example of this is majority of films that are in the comedy genre. There's been Daddy's Home that's come out, and now there's a Daddy's Home 2. Bad Moms and Bad Moms at Christmas, I think it is. Any film where Kevin Hart's involved. Some people love to go and watch those films repeatedly, but I know that some of the jokes in it are going to be recycled crap that I don't want to see over and over and over again. I want to see smart humour. I want to see smart development of character through humour. And that's why I don't enjoy them films as much. If they're ever able to just put on for an hour and a half, I'll watch it and forget it. That's literally how it goes. Sorry, I have to drink so much. My voice is so dry. But yeah, let's move on. New topic. New topic is, are developers listening to fans? And the reason I say this is because of the recent outcry of... or maybe I should rephrase this question is, do the consumers make a difference when it comes to the way companies change their games? And I can say that with the Star Wars microtransactions rant, that the microtransactions on Star Wars were appalling. I've said this on stream, I've said this multiple times to people that I talked about, is they've done it the wrong way. They have gone, oh, we're going to give you free DLC, but if you want to play Darth Vader, if you want to earn Darth Vader, it's like 40 hours or 50 hours or however long it is. But you can get him if you spend $15.99 and get 6 loot boxes or some shit like that. Now, for the casual gamer, that is very off-putting. There you go, you lose an instant sale, because no one wants to spend 40 hours in a game if it's not enjoyable. Not saying Star Wars Battlefront 2 is not enjoyable, but no one wants to spend that amount of time on a game to play Darth Vader when Johnny with the bank account, an endless bank account, can go in and open about 500 loot boxes and get Darth Vader the day he plays the game. It's very, very off-putting. And they recalled it or returned the favour of the fans having outcry with obviously stopping microtransactions in the game, giving an apology. And it made me think of other times where things have been changed in games because there's been a community outcry. Mods within GTA. There was a time where, I can't remember what the mod name was, but it got shut down by 2K, I think it was, or Take-Two. And then there was a massive outcry because it wasn't affecting online, it was just affecting the single player GTA, and people got very, very angry with that, so they reinstated it. Recently, people have been getting very annoyed with the Creators Club of Fallout, of Bethesda, when it comes to putting mods into their games. Whether or not they change that going forward. Sorry about that. I just had a bit of a spillage on myself. I was drinking a bit of black currant and it slipped out my hands and went all over me. So yeah, let's continue from where I was talking. And I was talking about developers in the future. Hopefully, developers will listen to not listen. Adapt their ways of thinking before they make rash decisions or make decisions that could potentially put off a lot of consumers and anger a lot of consumers. But if they do, it would be good to see them rectify their mistakes. A good example of this is No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky had a really big hype around it. It wasn't what people wanted. It wasn't what people expected. From what the guy talked about, he basically had lied a lot about the game. But The team has been working extremely hard the past year or two to make the game in a better state. They've nearly got local online multiplayer. They've added like a crafting thing in, so you have things to actually do. And it's very, very different. It's a very different game now. Hopefully there's a story, more of a story element coming into it. And yeah, so developers do listen to us, but they try and make... The good developers will try and not milk a product for what it is worth, which is what EA is doing with a lot of their multiplayer titles. I mean, why do they need to milk Star Wars when the rest of their company is making $1 billion from games such as Madden, FIFA, and various other games that they have a lot of people playing a lot of the time. I mean, they killed Mass Effect, they killed Visceral. They're probably going to be putting Battlefront in a bit of a bad place, and it leaves a big distasteful after effect in my mouth when it comes to what EA are doing. I'm not bashing EA. EA do some things very well. The way they're constantly developing new their titles that they hold on to, but there's nothing fresh, nothing new. Anthem, maybe, but if that doesn't make any money, do you think they'll cut that in the bud straight away? Or nip it in the bud, that, as they say, like cut it off. Was probably the right terminology to use there. But yeah, that's how I kind of feel about that whole situation. I mean, I like to use the podcast to talk about a lot of very different topics and things within the news, and I like to get my opinions out straight away and have a thoughtful talk about them of different areas that they could go with. But I like to have people to talk to with about them. So doing it on my own, it's kind of like I'm talking to a brick wall, but I'm not. I'm talking to you, the viewer, or you, the listener, and I'm trying to... This one's kind of a bit of a mishmash of a podcast because I wanted to record one, but I wanted to talk about various different things that have been happening recently and where we are within the gaming world and the movie world and the media world, you should say. So, yeah. Moving on to the last thing I actually really want to talk about, which was Black Friday is coming up. It's this Friday, so get your deals now. It's very important that you do that. I mean, some of the deals that are on are very, very good. If we just go... Steam hasn't announced their sale just yet. PlayStation, at the moment, has put their sales up. Black Friday deals, let's have a look. Here we go, Black Friday. You can get a PlayStation VR starter pack for 250 quid. You get the VR headset along with Skyrim VR or GT Sport, or even VR Worlds. And along with that, the PlayStation 4 Pro is at £300 for English people. I don't know how much it is for Americans and stuff. So if we have a look at all of the deals that are going on at the minute, if we go to Black Friday and we have a look at the links for the PS4 in general, we've got games like Gran Turismo Sport or GT Sport is down from £50 to $25.99 for PlayStation Plus users. FIFA's dropped to $35.99. Assassin's Creed nearly just under £40. We've got Need for Speed that's only just came out. That's dropped to about $35. Uncharted Lost Legacy is 30 quid. We've got some DLC packs for some games. I mean, Call of Duty's dropped by £10. Shadow of War is now 32. You know, some really good quality games that are out. Even Wolfenstein has dropped down to 25 quid. And I think one of the steals of it is probably... I did see a really good one the other day when I was checking out these deals. I mean, Bloodborne is £12. I'm tempted to pick up the Game of the Year edition for $16. It's on my radar to play. Maybe the Souls games is where I need to get to when it comes to actually being a gamer. Maybe I need to what's the word? Expand my difficulty levels on games, and even just PlayStation Plus in general. This month there's quite a few games that are out. You've got Worm Battlegrounds, Bound, R-Type Dimensions, Ragdoll Foo, Fist of Plastic, and there's also going to be the new ones that are going to be announced pretty soon. If we look at the exclusive discounts, Rainbow Six is now £16. Great deal, because Rainbow Six has got a lot going for it at the minute. Not a lot of stuff under a few pounds. If we look at the Xbox standpoint, though, for Black Friday deals, it's quite nuts for what they're dropping in price. Shop all digital games. You can save up to 65%. We've got, there's no prices sort by. Let's go back. I want to try and find something. I'm just looking for it right here. Games that have been dropped are such as Agents of Mayhem, this is in dollars, so I'm not too sure how much it would be. We got Agents of Mayhem that's being dropped in price. Assassin's Creed Black Friday deals, they've dropped it to $35, which is quite a considerable amount. I think the best place to look for, if you go in digital, it's probably best to look online on the actual stores and stuff, because you probably get rewards and stuff for it. But if you're going to go for Black Friday deals, you can save quite a bit of money on games via outlets. So, they've Wolfenstein with a steelbook case has dropped to £30, which is quite a considerable amount of money. I know this is kind of me advertising and stuff, but if you want to pick games up, I'm looking out for some specific games. I'm waiting to see if I want to get Mafia 3 or not. Alongside that, I've got Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon to play, and I'm going to try and get the platinum for that, depending on how long it takes me to do that. The Switch Nintendo hasn't really done any deals, I could say, for their Black Friday. I'll wait to see what they're going to do there. But most of all, what I'm looking forward to this Black Friday is just the Steam sale, because Steam will be bringing out a lot of games. They'll drop a lot of games in price, but if I don't see anything by Friday, if they haven't started anything on Friday, then I may not pick any games up at all. I'm looking for more hardware-based stuff. I'm looking at if microphones are going to drop under the £100 mark. If the microphone I'm looking for drops under that price, I'm probably going to pick it up. And even if the mixer drops under a $50 or £50, not $50, $50 or £60 mark, then there's a potential for me buying something there. Alongside that, that's what I'm really looking for. So going forward, going to this Friday, try and pick up some deals. Tell me what you think, what deals you picked up in the comment section down below. But I'll probably do like a recap next week of what I thought of the deals on Black Friday, and also if I actually picked anything up. So, yeah. Thank you ever so much for watching this broadcast, though. I'll probably come back with a bit more of a structured one. Hopefully get a guest next week on to record. Fingers crossed I can do that. But overall, I just want to say thank you for the support going on to my Twitch channel, my Twitter. Go and follow that. But the support on the Twitch channel is really great at the minute. Support on all of the videos is really great. And also support on... just the whole views in general. Even if you're not commenting or leaving a comment or anything like that, it's good to know people are actually watching my stuff, which is great. So thank you ever so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time on the Brocast.